Got my cutter, got my torch. Pour a beverage and I step out on the porch. Grab a cigar, I love that view. I guess it's time for another Poolside Cigar review. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Poolside Cigar Reviews with Kirk. I hope you like that new intro. I just did that this morning. But today we're taking a look at a special cigar, like usual. This is the Opus X Destino El Siglo Lancero. Now, if you watch my channel at all, you might wonder, Kirk, we've seen you do Opus X's before. We know you're not a huge Opus X guy. Why are you reviewing another Opus X? And that's because this Destino El Siglo Lancero is a very special Opus X for two reasons. One, because this is included in my cigar giveaway. So if you haven't yet registered for that giveaway, look in the description of this video. Make sure that you click that link, find out what to do. It's not that hard. Get into my raffle for the giveaway. We've got, let's see, 18 more days before I do that drawing. So not too late. Get in. And this cigar is included in that raffle. This is a Lancero, 7.5 by 38. It's a Dominican Puro, like all the Opus X's, I believe. Destino El Siglo means Destiny of the Century. And it's got a special second band. It says 1912 to 2012. This was the Destino El Siglo 2012, but it wasn't released until 2013. I think it had something to do with fire. Well, I don't know. I don't pay attention to the Fuente drama. There's always drama with the Fuentes, apparently. I don't know. But we've got a nice cedar sleeve on here. We'll see if that comes off nicely. I'm not really a big fan, personally, of the cedar sleeve, because I feel like I kind of like to see the cigar. You know, see if there's a big crack in it or something, but there's not. And I wouldn't expect that from Opus X, even though the flavor profile might not appeal to me. Generally, they're pretty well constructed. Well, this does have some spots on it. But, I mean, it's still a nice looking cigar. It's definitely handmade. You can definitely see the seams. This is a very expensive cigar, too. It's got a pigtail cap on there. 2 bands. But this is, again, you know, they're basically their 100th anniversary cigars. Dominican Puro. I couldn't find much about it, other than that it's still a Dominican Puro, but the blend is slightly different from the standard Opus X. Good cut. Nice open draw, which you don't always find on a Lancero. A lot of Lanceros are rolled way too tight. Very, very sweet. Very sweet. I like it. You know, Lanceros, I've heard, are very difficult to roll, and you know, it makes sense to me. You know, you're stuffing a lot of tobacco in a very thin tube, and you know, it's all long fill, and you can't get it kinked or twisted. It's just less places for just less margin for error, really. So let's quit beating around the bush here and light this up. Yeah, I just figured I would review this so that you could see what you're getting. I really charged you in there. That was my fault. Very toasty. You know, with a lot of these Opus X's, that's what I tend to get off the bat, is like a toasted wood. Something familiar there that I haven't put my finger on yet. Lots of smoke. I really like that. It's almost like a slight pepper. Very slight, with a little bit of like a floral, like an herbal floral taste. Really interesting. Yeah, it reminds me of like roasted herbs or something. Really getting into a deeper wood there. Really complex. Yeah, that first light is complex, so that's awesome. Let's check the time here. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and dig into this, and I am looking forward to the other 7 1/4 inches here and seeing what else this cigar has to offer. So stick around, guys. I will see you in just 1 minute. So I'm about 25 minutes in now. Burning very well. Still lots of smoke. I love the draw. So far it's been a very dynamic cigar. A lot of that complexity from the first light disappeared really quickly flavor-wise. And it settled into a little creamy woodiness. And then maybe about 5 or 10 minutes in, it actually started to get kind of like a harsh chemical note to it, which I thought was odd. Not ammonia-like, but just a general harshness. It was hard to describe. And then now, I'm getting a lot of wood and tobacco notes. Some spices starting to pick up just a little bit, and it's really mellowed out. It's not. It doesn't have any of those harsh notes anymore. It's actually very pleasant now. The retrohale is very nice. A little spicier. I'm not big into the retrohale. I just blow a little bit through my nose, not a lot, because I don't like that burning sensation personally, and I find that if I do that with any regularity, I'm prone to like sinus infections. I feel like my sinuses get inflamed. It affects my breathing. I just don't like the way it feels, so I don't do it. To each their own. If you do it, that's fine. The ash has been flowering a little bit, but I don't really care about that. As long as I don't have to touch it up, I don't really worry about if the ash looks nice. It falls off quickly, but that's what Lanceros do. I mean, it's very thin, so it's more brittle. You do have to smoke these faster, just because it's a Lancero. But so far, I am enjoying it. Yeah. So I will, yeah, I had the same issue before where I started to get, kind of like a finger not burning right, but then it caught itself up, and I'm sure it'll do it again. It's burning all over. I'm probably not smoking it fast enough. But so far, it's been very dynamic, so hopefully it stays interesting, and we'll see what else we get out of it. See you guys in a minute. So I'm about 50 minutes in now. I took the first band off, getting ready to take the second band off. I guess I'll just do that right now. These Opus X bands are really hard, in my opinion, and from my experience. I don't know, I probably had half a dozen or more Opus X's. The bands are always difficult to get off, at least if you're trying to peel them off. Sometimes they'll slide off the end. But, so this second third was interesting. The strength really kicked up. Some white pepper flavors started coming in. Not a ton, but a little tingle on the lips, tingle in the tongue, and again, good strength. I definitely feel that. For me, it manifests itself as like a little bit of an acid reflux feeling. I don't get lightheaded. I'm not very sensitive to nicotine, but I can tell a strong cigar by the acid reflux feeling that I get. So this definitely has some strength to it. I haven't eaten much today, so that could be part of it as well. Right now, it's been much more consistent in the second third. A lot of, again, that tobacco, a lot of cedar flavor, a little bit of, again, like I said, white pepper spice. So definitely enjoyable. The flavors are picking up. So the flavors were pretty steady, but they were increasing as I smoked on here. So I'm anticipating the finish here to be, maybe even approaching like a full flavor. Right now it's a solid medium, maybe medium to full. Again, the flavors aren't very assertive, but there's a lot of them. So at the beginning of the cigar, it was very complex, very dynamic. The complexity has dropped, but the flavors have picked up, so it's more flavorful. So that's kind of, I guess that's kind of how I describe cigars. Some people just use the word complex, and I think complex can mean a number of things to different people. Some people use complex to describe a cigar that has transitions. to me, I would call that dynamic. I would say that's a more dynamic cigar versus a static cigar, which would be kind of consistent throughout. And to me, if I use the word complex, I'm generally describing the flavors. To me, complex flavors mean that there's layers of flavor in each draw. You know, you're getting a lot of different flavor notes. So this started with complexity. It's becoming less complex, but more flavorful. So kind of interesting, but I definitely like it. I did have to relight it. It did go out. But, you know, when you smoke a Lancero, that's just going to happen. I mean, I really like Lanceros, but I know going in that they're difficult to roll, and you kind of have to baby them and watch them a little more than you do like a 50 ring gauge, you know. And it is also kind of a balance between keeping it burning well and then having it burn too hot, because they can get too hot. So this one has some of those issues that a lot of Lanceros have, but it does have a big plus going for it, that it's got a great draw. And even though, like I said, even though it has had some of those issues, they've been minimal. So not really, no complaints really on construction. So anyway, I'll come back, let you know how this cigar finishes up, and give you my final thoughts. So stick around, guys. I will see you in a minute. Okay, so about an hour and 15 minutes in now. Just wrapping this up, and I grabbed a Santan Devil's Ale. Which is a very nice, to me it tastes almost like a British pub ale, but with a little bit more hops. And I just poured this, so that was my first sip actually. But I've had that beer before, I like it. It's from the Santan Brewery in Chandler, Arizona. It's a suburb of Phoenix. But so this cigar, it's getting very warm and very soft at this point. But the last third didn't ramp up like I thought it would. The strength actually died down a little bit, and the flavors were consistent. So, you know, solid. Good performance. I enjoyed it. You know, I wish with cigars like this that I would have a chance to smoke these blind, because when you know that it's an Opus X, and when you know that it's you know, a special Opus X 100th anniversary, I just don't know how those expectations play in. And also, you know, my preconceived biases towards Opus X. You know, I'm not the biggest Opus X fan out there. I don't think there's anything wrong with Opus X, but just for my flavor profile, for my palate, it's just not my favorite cigar. It compares decently with this beer, but yeah, I just wonder if I were to smoke this blind, if I would think anything different of it. I try to not be biased, and I don't know if I would think more or less of this cigar if I didn't know what it was, to tell you the truth. But it's definitely worth trying, so probably the best way for you to get your hands on one would be to enter my raffle, because these are really hard to find. I'm not going to say you couldn't find them in a shop, but it'd be pretty unlikely. They didn't make that many boxes. They come in boxes of 10, and they're very expensive. If you look for these online, for the Lancero, if you can even find them in stock, you're gonna pay anywhere, usually from one of those secondary market websites. You're probably gonna pay between $33 and $45 because it's a limited release Opus, and those are popular and people collect them. So is it worth that price range? For me, it's not. If you're a big Opus X fan and you just want to try everything they have to offer, then it very well might be. I mean, it wasn't a bad cigar, don't get me wrong. I didn't pay that price for it. I went into a cigar shop I don't normally go into in Tucson called the Cigar Warehouse. And that's how I got these. I got about half a dozen of these. And I went in there just because I like to go to different shops just to see what they have, see if they have different stuff. And they had these on the shelf. And I had heard the Destino Siglo, but I didn't know much about it. And they were marked as $11. And I thought, wait a minute, that's a special edition Opus. Why is that $11? And on the tag on the shelf, it just said Opus X Lancero, $11. And so I asked the guy, I said, are these really 11 bucks? He said, yeah, you won't find Opus X cheaper anywhere else in town. And we have the cheapest Opus X. And this was actually all the Opus X they had. They didn't have very much. So I said, wow, that's really cheap. And I grabbed my phone real quick and looked it up online and saw how expensive they were. And I bought the rest in the box. There were 6 there, so I bought them all. So I'll probably age the rest. I'm giving one away. Yeah, so I got these for a good deal. So that's a good lesson for you guys. Shop around, go to different shops. Knowledge is your friend. The internet's your friend. Google's your friend. And if you're lucky, every now and then you can find a good deal where a shop owner doesn't really know what they have. You can find the same thing with like single malt scotches. You know, the price has been rising so quickly with single malt scotches that some of the smaller liquor stores, the mom and pops, they don't always know what they have. So they might have a nice single malt that's 5, 6, 7 years old. Liquor doesn't age in the bottle like a wine would, so it's not going to be any different, you know, because it's older. It's going to be the same more or less, but they don't always know what they have, so you might be able to pay, you know, 2008, 2009 prices, or they might even have them marked on sale. I've seen that too, where they're just trying to get rid of inventory that they've had for a long time. They don't know what it is, and it's marked cheap. So keep your eyes open, try to be a knowledgeable consumer, and you can find good deals. So anyway, that was my take on the Opus X Destino al Siglo Lancero. Hopefully you'll be the lucky winner and you can try one for yourself. I would love to know what you think. So yeah, let me know. Have you had one? Are you trying to try one? Have you heard of them? Leave me a comment. I love to hear what your guys' take on these things are. And also, let me know what you think of my new intro. I was messing around this morning and with my guitar, and I thought I would try to record a little Poolside Cigar Reviews theme and get a new video up, or at least a new intro up. So let me know what you thought of that. Anyway, guys, hope you're having a great day, and hope you can grab a nice cigar for yourself sometime soon. And until next time, make sure you keep your feet in the pool, a drink in your hand, and a cigar in your mouth. Have a good one, everybody.